Imagine a brilliant mind that could have changed the world for the better, but instead chose a path of fear and destruction. This is the story of Ted Kaczynski, a child genius turned domestic terrorist, better known as the Unabomber. Born into privilege, blessed with intellect, yet driven by an intense hatred for modern technology, Kaczynski launched a violent crusade that gripped the nation for nearly 2 decades. But what drove Ted to this extreme? And could his critique of modern technology make sense today? Ted Kaczynski was born on May 22, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois. Even as a kid, it was clear that Ted was a little different. With an incredible IQ of 167, he zipped through school, skipping grades and landing at Harvard University by just 16 years old. But despite his amazing achievements, Ted often felt lonely. While people admired his smarts, he struggled with feelings of isolation that would later lead him down a troubling path. At Harvard, Ted took part in a controversial psychological study led by Dr. Henry Murray. The study involved intense interrogation and personal attacks, something that left a mark on young Ted. Many believe that this experience contributed to his later radicalization. After earning his PhD in mathematics, Ted began an academic career that seemed destined for greatness. He accepted a position at UC Berkeley, but soon grew disillusioned with the very society that had celebrated his intellect. In 1971, he made a drastic decision. He left it all behind. He retreated to a remote cabin in Montana, living off the grid without electricity or running water. Here, Ted sought to live a life untainted by the industrial technological system he despised, but in the isolation of that cabin, his thoughts grew darker, and his mission more radical. Ted Kaczynski began to believe that the only way to halt the destructive force of technology was through violence. Between 1978 and 1995, he carried out a series of bombings targeting universities, airlines, and individuals linked to technological advancement. 3 people were killed, and 23 others were injured. The bombings gripped the nation in fear, and for nearly 2 decades, the FBI struggled to find the elusive Unabomber. Kaczynski wasn't just out to hurt people, he wanted to send a message. In 1995, he demanded that his manifesto, titled Industrial Society and Its Future, be published by major newspapers. The document outlined his belief that technological progress would inevitably lead to the destruction of human freedom. It was a scathing critique of modern society. Kaczynski argued that technological advancements disconnected us from the primal satisfaction of what he called the power process, the basic human need to exert control over one's own life. But this move ultimately led to his capture. When the manifesto was published, millions read it, including his brother David. Recognizing Ted's writing style, he made the difficult decision to report his suspicions about his brother to the FBI. Using David's evidence, the FBI matched the manifesto to Kaczynski's earlier writings. In 1996, they raided his cabin and found all the proof they needed: bomb-making materials, drafts of the manifesto, and personal diaries detailing his plans. Ted Kaczynski was arrested and eventually sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But his manifesto continues to provoke thought even today. In an age dominated by AI, social media, and constant connectivity, Kaczynski's extreme views make us ask, was he simply a madman? Or was there a grain of truth in his critique of technology? Could Kaczynski's ideology find followers today? Or are we too far down the technological path to turn back?